What's going on YouTube? AlphonZeus of Team Gradelock here with another episode of Unlocking Week, episode 79. We're going to start things off with the local results that happened for Cardfight Vanguard this past Saturday at Game On with a breakdown from my performance in the 4 rounds of Swiss with a top 4 playoff cut. And now we're going to be going into the video content you'll be seeing for this year as well as next year, technically, because this week encompasses both 2014 and 2015. And then we're going to cap it off with the latest episode review of Ride 206 or G Turn 10 of the Cardfight Vanguard G Series. So starting off with the local results of Game On, we had about 11 to 13 people for our final Cardfight Vanguard tournament of the year. And I went in with the D-Robos, D-Popo, and pretty much if you haven't seen the Facebook page, I usually post a general summary of all the results from each round I participated in. And of course, you know, I can just put it into a little bit more detail on here, but I'll provide a link down below so you can check out our Facebook page because we got it up just recently and we're trying to really gain steam for it as we move along. So moving into the first round, I went up against Joe Burns, and he was running the Shadow Paladin Abyss Revengers, and I got 2-0'd very convincingly. He was very smart in guarding kind of early when he needed to, so that when I do the Crossbreaker, I turn with Die Kaiser or Great Die Kaiser. He doesn't have to worry too much about taking damage. He doesn't have to worry if I get like a double crit or something. He's at 2, so that means if I get a double crit on the Break Ride, pretty much it's GG unless he gets a heal trigger along the way. So he played it very smart. I couldn't really find a way to defend myself very well. It was actually at the very last minute before I started the round, I actually put in one Commander Laurel because unfortunately I wasn't able to get a second of Henry because he only had one left and it was $5 too. So I didn't see Laurel at all in that match, so I didn't get a chance to really let him shine. But I got beat. It was, yes, as I've said, it's very convincing when you go up against Abyss and you get the restander, especially when you get a critical trigger on your first twin drive, and then it just goes downhill from there. It's either I survive with very few cards in my hand, or I die, and round over. Round 2, I went up against Eric, and he was actually running the Brawlers of Narukami. It was a very interesting 3 games. Game 1, he controlled my field so much, with utilizing Legion skill after Legion skill of not the regular Big Bang. It was the Big Bang Cross Ride Legion, Big Bang Knuckle Buster, I think. It's for that one counterblast and then Soul Charge a random Big Bang card. You literally get to attack 4 units, and I lost my field consistently. After the second time he does the Legion skill on you, you're pretty much dead. If you probably got like a 6 damage heal trigger, you just had a big hand to guard with, at least for the Vanguard. And so in game 3, it really came down to me just utilizing the cross break ride because he had barely 4 cards in his hand when I did the cross break ride, and of course with the triple drive, I had, you know, the grade 3s necessary to just pop the card so I can get that 6 damage on him and win that round. And then round 3, I went up against Jason. He was running the Kagero Rebirth engine, so it was interesting because first game he literally did not have enough guarding power. He drew his heal trigger on after he guarded with pretty much almost all of his hand, and he scooped from there. And in game 2, it went into a bit of a trigger match because it really depended on if Jason could get that, you know, that second trigger in order to either break my shield. Because I had cards to guard with, but I was not able to guard if, you know, I perfect guard the Vanguard, and I would leave the 2 other attacks to it swing at me. And so he got off of the critical and the heal trigger, so it took game 2 in that round, or at least not round. Game 3, it just came down to myself just, you know, putting in the break ride pressure, trying to push for as much damage as possible, at least 3 damage, or even 4 if I'm lucky, and just do my best to just put in with the break ride to try and end it as fast as possible. And it's tough to try and do that with D-Police, but if you have Commander Laurel out, it puts a hell of a lot more pressure because I can use, you know, rest up my 2 columns and then restand again for another Vanguard swing. And the popping perfect guard skill still takes effect. So I won 2-1 against Jason. Going into the final round, I went against Joe L, and he was running the Shadow Paladin Abyss himself. So this is the second time I would come across this clan and build. So going into both games, I wasn't in my right mindset. I was trying to think down to, he had already legioned his stuff. He was Gradelock for a turn 2 at 2. But and I damage checked at least a few of his Abyss raging forms. It was kind of like a conflict because at the very last turn, it was either I had a field, I had Laura out, I was swinging with the Vanguard. I was either thinking, alright, if I swing with the Vanguard, he guards that. I either can get in one more attack with, each column, or I get 2 more cards to add to my hand off of the wall skill because he had to say no guard on that. He was at 3 damage, so, he felt a little bit comfortable about that. And I was thinking, he's probably going to end up guarding it anyways. But the thing is, I actually ended up, not using Lolo's skill, and that pretty much cost me the game because he had double triggers on his next turn. So I was only able to block, one attack, and I had to take another attack. So one of the also key plays that he did there, I called a 12k attacker to swing at the Vanguard, and he retired that with Blasted Dark Revenger, the OG Revenger. And my misplay there, I had a grade 3 in my hand. So I was thinking, since, I have to watch out for both Abyss and for Blasted Dark Revenger, I was thinking, I'd rather just keep my 12k attackers in hand, unless I know I can go for game. And I'll just bring out my grade 3s, the extra grade 3s that I don't need to break ride with, and just swing in with 11, since, Abyss doesn't have a cross ride or, a 13k defense. So it was because that he retired my 12k attacker that I was not able to guard both attacks. And even though I managed to just block out one attack and I had to take a 6 damage heal trigger, I still did not have enough to guard the other attack. He smartly put his triggers in there, so I needed a 15k shield to drop. And the thing is, though, even though I got the heal trigger, it really came down to him having that extra, I guess, 5,000 power in order for me to drop an extra card in my hand, and that extra card in my hand was not a shield card. It was just a grade 3, so it was a dead card in my hand. So at least I know for next time, whenever I go up against Abyss, I would be more hesitant about calling out grade 2 rear guards, because he can just simply retire with the original Blasted Dark Avenger. And the thing is, though, he can also control my field with Abyss because, he has a Doran combo, so he can unflip damage, so just he has enough for the Legion ride where he go into the restand. But also to at least not play my Glory Makers too early on, because that's already a prime target for him to just retire, and he just unflips that damage with Doran. So he beat me 2-0, so I really need to play test against Abyss quite a bit, just to learn, because since Limit Break format is already out of the ordinary, out of the works, I have to now really worry whether he's at 2 damage, 3 damage, 4 damage. I have to worry because having the restanding Vanguard is pretty bad for me, because he not only gets 4 cards to his hand, he also gets to clear his field, which is, of course, good defense against other retired decks or even locked decks like Joker. I ended up going breaking even 2-2. So I didn't top. The 4 people that actually did top were both Joes, so you get both Shadow Paladins in there. The third person who topped was actually, I was trying to think. The third person was Rob. He was running CEO Yggdrasil. It was a straight Legion build with both Nyx and CEO Yggdrasil. I think the fourth one happened to be, I think it was, yeah, it was like, okay, blah, blah, blah. Oh yeah, so it was Travis, and Travis was running Kagero Rebirth. So a Kagero, 2 Shadow Paladins, and a Genesis deck. Congrats to all top 4 for making it in a top cut for the last Cardfight Vanguard tournament of the year. Until next time. So, congrats to all of them, and I'll be looking forward to see if I can get my second Law and try and play test with Law a bit more rather than just add him to the deck at the last second, because he really could have came in clutch right there. It was definitely my misplay. Joe was even asking me too in the last round. I was surprised. Like, wouldn't you want card advantage? And I was thinking, you had 3 cards in your hand, and I made a risk in trying to see if I could either fish out those last 2 cards from you, or at least, try and play it a little bit smarter by calling that grade 3 rather than grade 2. But at least that error will be ingrained into my mind for next time, so I know what to do. So the local results are actually pretty interesting. I know that after that, we weren't able to have a buddy fight tournament because we had a few people that were leaving, and of course, a few people were pissed off because, they came here just because they want to play buddy fight, and I felt bad about that, but unfortunately I had to get picked up a bit early, and I do want to try every Saturday to stay afterwards so I can participate in both tournaments more often. I know that we haven't really had a chance to really go in on buddy fight at the local since everyone's still on the Vanguard train. I know that throughout the past couple of months, we went on a real buddy fight roller coaster where we started out with Vanguard and we saw buddy fight was okay, and we saw like Arturo's performance and how less sacky of a game it can be compared to Vanguard or Way Schwartz. Then it started to really peak around the time where he actually won the national championships. And then it started to go downwards a bit when we started getting overflowing of buddy fight and became, just kind of like sick of it, because it's like too much of a good thing is a bad thing, actually. So it started going down, and we started to rediscover our love for Vanguard. Although I feel like it's probably going to go on the upswing again because now we're seeing how, even though Legion is crazy, I've seen them. I've heard people saying that they healed like more than 4 times in the match and actually have that go up, which is pretty insane. Because hey, it's a Legion. And then you pretty much, I think we're going to be on the upswing back to buddy fight again, because actually I recently completed a Knights of the Round Table Legend World deck, which was the deck that I wanted to go in from since set 4 or even Legend World was first announced. And of course I had to go to, if you haven't seen my vlogs before, I had to, sell my Excaliburs to Joe so I can at least get a Gorgon waifu build going, and I wasn't really feeling it. I wasn't even topping. I wasn't even doing well with the deck, for like the few months or so that I actually ran it. So now I'm faced with, okay, I have the Knights of the Round Table. I found, okay, this is awesome. I have everything I need. I just need to learn how to control the field a bit more, because Legend World, they have everything except for item destruction. Because, of course, Breathing Guard is one of the most broken staple cards in Future Card Buddy Fight for Legend World. Because not only can you nullify a spell being casted by your opponent, you also get to pop set cards on the field. So any mission cards you see on the field, or any, set spells that either, like, hey, like the Katana one that can deal, like, a damage every main phase, or, the Dragon, Field of Dragons, or the, that field spell where each time a dragon is called, you gain a life. Oh, God. It's crazy, and I just want to try my best with that. I know last week I was saying like I gotta go in there with a different mindset. I went in there with a different mindset, and then all of a sudden I realized I needed Commander Laurel. I picked one up for enemy, and then all of a sudden that changed my mindset for the rest of the day. So local results is going to be pretty good. I'm looking forward to see what's going to be the first tournament we'll look forward to in the new year, and I don't know, I might dress up as Silent Tom again or another character, but we'll leave that for a future video. So moving on to the video content you'll be seeing for this week. I know that we haven't put up like a match or a deck profile. I actually forgot to both ask Jenna for a deck profile video since she just updated her Dark Regular deck with a, with the Legion promo for the Psychic of Dust, I think. And then I forgot to ask Henry for the tripod again so we can actually try and record a match this time. We haven't put up a match in the past few weeks or so. But I will try to put up a match this week. I know that it's still holidays. You still got the New Year Eve and New Year's Day coming in. So I have some family events as well as other events that I need to attend to as well. But I'll do my best to at least keep the video content flowing. I'll see if I can actually do a deck profile on my D-Robos D-Profo sometime this week. I'll see if I can try and set up, maybe a stand, or even do something like the classic ways when I was back in Team Iron Man 12. Just have like the cards in front of me. And I'll just, kind of like explain the deck over as I play the deck now for, I think, longer than I played Tsukiyomi for Oracle Think Tanks. So expect 2 new videos to be up this week. If I can make it the game on sometime on Tuesday or Wednesday, I will do my best to try and record a match or at least a deck profile for you guys. And then also this week, hopefully when the new year starts up, I'll put up a video, whether it's New Year's Day on the 1st or the 2nd. We're going to be doing a giveaway video. It's probably going to either involve sleeves or a playmat, so keep on the lookout for the videos to be added. And I'll be sure to, of course, update you all. And, of course, I will extend the deadline from 1 week, which is what happened last time, to an entire month. So you have all month to comment down below and be subscribed to the channel in order to enter. And then, I'll explain more once that video will be up, and I'll be sharing it all over social media, whether it's Google+, Facebook, etc. So those are the videos you'll be expecting for this week. And now we can move on into the ride breakdown. So spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the episode yet, please pause and close the video. Go watch that episode and then come back right here so we can discuss about it. Of course, if you just want to close out and not see it, feel free to and be on your merry way. So Ride 206 or G Turn 10 Jaime Alacraz. We get to be introduced to a brand new character in the G series, and I gotta say, this guy is very different from the established Aquaforce player that we've seen in the whole franchise. And how Jaime Alacraz would come to be an Aquaforce player out of all things. Damn, it's really like the awkward cousin of the Soryu clan, except this guy is kind of, in the kindest way possible, a plague to humanity. Because when Chrono accepts the quest, and then he goes to wait for the guy draws an attention to himself from the whole nearby audience, and running like, who is this guy? The guy is apparently, he's just excited and happy to be alive right now. Thing is though, when he does notice Chrono, you can tell we get into the face of the episode where Chrono makes a face that he's just like, oh no, I've been found out, or it's like, this can't be the guy, like, that's not really what, oh god, I don't know what's gonna happen here. It's like, okay, can we just Cardfight and just get this over with? But the thing is though, it's just gonna happen for the entire episode because this guy wants to be introduced to Japan and Vanguard. Japan first, apparently, because I guess this is like his first time here. When they even introduce themselves, even he says, instead of like Jaime Alacraz, which is what the American way of saying it is, we end up going in more of a favor of a Japanese pronunciation. Surprisingly, this guy from Spain is very fluent in Japanese. This time, Jaime Alacraz. And throughout the entire episode, or at least through the most part, at least for the first 15 minutes, or the first 3/4 of the entire episode, we see him getting assimilated, or at least getting used to Vanguard, or at least Japan culture, with a little bit of Vanguard in it. Because from making these strange pancakes, or with this baked beans and sugar, oh my god, they look kind of scrumptious. I would like to try one of those one day. And then we even get into him role-playing out a Bushido Samurai battle with Chrono, who appeared reluctant at first, but thanks to a couple of winks and nudges, we're gonna see like, alright, we're gonna just go into it. Because, of course, Chrono hasn't encountered somebody like Jaime at all, at least, when the series started. And I gotta say, it's kind of cool to see a little bit more of a comedic breakaway from the previous episode where it was a whole lot of feels. But after that, we even get, like, no matter what happens, no matter who they run into, the guy calls like everybody amigo, and how he's so happy to even learn about this type of stuff. Because, of course, yeah, when you're in a foreign world and you're just introduced to the whole culture of it, it looks amazing. It's kind of like you want to drop everything and just want to do what you're doing right now, or at least take the opportunity to do something brand new you've never tried before. And as we progress along, we get to even see some cameos from, of course, previous characters of, I guess, the little ensemble that Chrono has gotten to his, I guess, networking tree. So when we see not only Shion get into a very heated race in which that the freaking rickshaw won, and to his and my surprise that they actually pulled it off. Of course, they had to pull some shenanigans by going off of the street itself and taking advantage of Shion's traffic that he has to endure, and that pretty much tilts in the way of the favor. And then you even have him trying to get a Vanguard fight between two players that one player doesn't even want to fight the guy anymore because he thinks he's free. He already beat him plenty of times, but then when Jaime would actually put up everything that he had in his hand from like all the experiences today, the guy was like, alright, I'll challenge you again. And then the guy who looks completely, flabbergasted that, oh my god, I get another chance to prove myself. And Jaime already, he attributes everything to putting his heart, or like you gotta feel it with your heart. And it's like how after the Feels episode of G Turn 9, and we go into this episode, it's like this guy is the motivational speaker to talk to. I don't know where the hell this guy came from outside of Spain. I don't know what village he came from or city he came from. But this guy is like, I don't know. He's just so happy and so positive. I don't think I've seen the guy even frown at once this episode. And how the little kid that actually beat the guy who apparently called him free is just crazy. And it's like he can predict the future in a way, but he predicts it with his heart rather than with his brain. And then as we get into the actual part, or at least the ending part, where we actually see not only after Shion's running, you guys get to see into Tokaha's running, and how Jaime, I don't know how old this guy is, but it's like love at first sight for him. And of course Toka, you can tell she has a thing for Chrono, but the thing is, you have Jaime that has a crush on her and saying like, "Oh, I'm falling in love with you. I'm gonna make you love me." First of all, dude, you look at least like 18. Toka or Chrono and them, they are only in like middle school, maybe high school. I don't know, because dear God, with Cardfight Vanguard series, you see some people, they look like adults. They're freaking in high school, and that throws me off so much. So I'm not sure what to call Jaime yet. Hopefully he's a high schooler, maybe a freshman or a sophomore, to kind of balance out any awkwardness that may come in. And even though Toka would take on the Tsundere role and just like brush him off, the guy takes it as more motivation. I'm thinking, what is this guy doing? What are you doing to yourself? Why are you falling in love with her? And it's funny because now it's just like, what the hell is your problem? Like, Chrono, do something. And he's like, I've been trying to do something all day. I'm trying to card fight him. But it wasn't until that Jaime would actually look at what deck he has that he would actually feel compelled to challenge him and say, this is the quest you gave me. Aren't you aware of your own quest? We could have done this from the beginning. Well, of course, it's like they put in this whole filler, but to introduce how Jaime's character would interact not only with people that he would come to know as a friend, but also to people that he just met for the first day in his entire life. Of course, I'm separating Chrono from the rest of the group because, of course, Chrono's the main protagonist. And the audience, or at least, you know, the crowd that he interacts with, they are completely two different people. The only similarity is that they're human. And the thing is, though, right when they say, alright, we're going to card fight, boom, we get to see Anjo. Well, not Anjo, not Tokaha Anjo. We see Mamoru show up. And he knows freaking he knows Jaime, and he wants to recruit him for this international interleague thing. So it's pretty insane thinking, alright, we got like this international all-star team of the best Cardfight Vanguard players from all over the planet, pretty much whether it's good by either trigger sacking or legit manipulating field, whether it's your field or your opponent's field. And how he would even deny him the opportunity to card fight Chrono. Of course, I had to go to practice, and then, of course, at the end, we get to see Jaime extend an invitation to Chrono to watch what's going to happen. At least watch the whole entire event of the Interleague, I guess, playoffs or something. Whatever the case is. It's kind of a nice cliffhanger in that part to say, hey, we have, you know, something to look forward to that can be a major arc in the story. And even afterwards, you get to see both Shion and Toga kind of not overthink, because they're just, you know, trying to see who the hell is this guy. But they're just thinking over the experience that they had meeting Chrono and his newfound friend in Jaime. Of course, Shion, Google it, and you see everything that he is. And then you have Toga, who apparently receives flowers. Oh my god, it's like, Jaime, I need to know your age first, because there's a lot of awkward stuff that can come out of this. But as we end the episode, it's really nice to see an Aquaforce player that breaks the mold of what we've been used to for the past couple seasons. And I think Jaime can provide a whole lot of development, not only for himself in the long run, but to the people around him, especially the recurring characters in the cast. And I'll definitely look forward to see what the hell is going to be happening next week. Hopefully we'll see that Interleague tournament. I haven't seen the preview for the next week's episode yet, but I'm assuming it's going to be a very, very good episode. So, yeah, that pretty much ends the episode review. Trying to keep it a little bit short, but of course, you know, you can always comment down below saying, hey, we want this episode longer or we want it shorter. Whatever the case is, I will listen to your suggestions and take it into consideration. So that is it for me. My name is AlphonZeus. Hope that you've enjoyed the week that I've unlocked for you. And this is the last episode of the year. So have a happy New Year's, happy holidays, and we will see you guys next year. Take care.